What's up, everybody? Welcome to a Friday edition of the Ysn Power Hour. DJ Yoakley with you, and it has been an incredible, what a news day! What a news day! We have breaking news in the world of the National Football League and professional football, and it affects the Pittsburgh Steelers. And this is like breaking news. And I got to give credit to my dude, Josh Upshire, for sending it my way. And I've been frantically searching the dark web for the last 5 minutes. It's that fresh. Ladies and gentlemen, on the day that on the day that I almost gave it away, I'm going to give it away anyway. On the day that Russell Wilson and so many others signed to be Pittsburgh Steelers, Kenny Pickett has been traded. No longer a Steeler. Kenny Pickett, our first-round draft pick from 2 years ago, has been sent to the other side of the state, to Philadelphia. He is no longer a Pittsburgh Steeler, and I can't for the life of me figure out what the Steelers got back, which is not a good thing, probably. They say it's a pick swap. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me because Kenny Pickett, pick swap. Maybe that's no. Either way, Kenny Pickett is no longer on the Steelers roster. It's Russell Wilson, and that is the only guy. So you got to believe that the Steelers are looking for another quarterback in this year's draft or on the scrap heap, going Pirate style to try to pick up another quarterback to be in that room. So it's going to be all right. So here we go. We got a third this year and two sevenths for Pickett and a fourth. Okay. A third this year and 2 sevenths. The seventh won't mean anything, but I'm okay with a third. That just tells you, listen, in the world of, and it's been a crazy day, Aaron Donald, arguably one of the greatest defensive tackles of all time, retires after 10 years in the league. Tough day for Pittsburgh. Aaron Donald being a Pittsburgh guy. Wow. Tough look for Pittsburgh today. But we've got other nuts to crack here. Ladies and gentlemen, the most of you are tuning in because you want to see the mystery guest judge for the YSN Slam Dunk Contest. The first of 4 mystery guest judges that we are going to have unveiled right here on this beautiful program. Right here. I'm excited to give this one away. I'm excited because this was one where I'm really excited to bring these judges in. Scotty Mincher, guest, he's judge number 1, right? And he's number 1 in everybody's program and everybody's hearts. But I will tell you this, the other 4 judges, including this very one we're about to reveal right meow, is one that you're going to take notice in. You're going to be excited for. A person who has, as I will say in the intro, revolutionized what she does. A young lady who has been a mainstay in this valley for the last few years, and we're looking forward to getting to know her more here at YSN. A person who, Kenny Pickett, best quarterback in Philly. Incredible. I don't know about all that. Jalen Hurts is pretty doggone good. Let's just get to the intro. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to unveil. Had a chance to speak to our guest judge earlier today because she's so busy. Without further ado, let's find out who it is. Take it away, DJ. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We have a great interview for you. Something we've kind of kept close to the vest as we approach the March 24th All-Star Game, brought to you by YSN. We've got over 120 student athletes that will be participating in this game alone. 120 plus coaches, plus a ton of fans, a ton of fun, and we're all going to be raising money for a good cause and sleep in heavenly peace, making sure kids are able to have beds. So hopefully someday they're able to do great things, just like our next guest. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the judges, the guest judges, celebrity judges that we're going to be bringing in. I'm incredibly proud of this one because this is a young lady who has done so much in so little time. She has revolutionized the industry, especially here in the Valley. She has come to us, I believe, in 2020-ish when she graduated, and she has taken the Valley by storm. A young lady who continues to just over and over and over again set the bar for what it's like to be a journalist in this Valley. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the guest judges at this time, Channel 21 WFMJ 6 o'clock anchor, Madison Drumler. Hi, Madison. How are you?
Well, I'm good, DJ, and I thank you so much. That was the sweetest intro ever. So thank you. That was very sweet. I'm so happy to be here. I'm looking forward to the event.
It's an honor to have you. A lot of people, I'm looking forward to seeing how they interact with you because you get out a lot, but you are all business all the time. So to be able to let your hair down a little bit and enjoy the fruits of your labor and shake some hands, kiss some babies at the All-Star game. My first question to you is sports. In the world of sports, you're not a sports anchor. You are a journalist, and a very serious one. You don't have to schlub it around like guys like us that muck up the word journalist. You're the legit one, and one of the good ones and great ones for that matter. For you to be able to be involved in something like this, an All-Star game, what was your first reaction when you were asked?
Well, I grew up in the Cleveland area. So I think for me, I do love the sports atmosphere, actually. I love that it just brings people together. And, I grew up as a Browns fan, a Cavs fan, and the Guardians now, of course. But, so I love that atmosphere. And just anytime, it just brings people together and it's fun. It's just really fun. So in high school, I didn't play a ton of sports at all. I cheered a bit, but I remember just the feeling, and I'm excited because this is basketball. And I remember we always loved to cheer during the basketball games because well, during the football games it was really cold and they were a bit longer, and I mean that was exciting, but just the basketball atmosphere, I think it's just so like fast paced and it's fun to watch. So I was really excited when you asked me to do this because yeah, I don't get to do a lot of sports stories. Sometimes it just depends, but as you said, like typically it's investigative, hard news, day turn stories about just what's going on across the valley. So I was really honored that you asked me to do this, and I'm really excited. I know there's some awesome judges doing this, so I'm excited to be around this atmosphere. But no, I do love sports, and I think I hate to say this, but I'm a huge Taylor Swift fan as well.
Yes.
And and seeing, the way that she entered into the whole football world, and honestly, I started paying a lot more attention to football this past season. So it's just really funny because I literally downloaded, like I rebought Peacock just to watch the games, to the Chiefs games. And as a Browns fan, that hurts to say that, but it's just fun. It's just fun to watch. And I think learning more about the game, the game of football, it really is an interesting game. So I think just seeing Taylor enter that world, so but yeah, I mean, I grew up, my family has always loved Cleveland sports. So, just going to the Guardians games in the summer. And I remember one of my first Cavs games, actually, because of a sweet friend of ours in college, we were like courtside. And it was when LeBron was there actually at the time. So that was insane to see that, And so I mean, I love sports, and I think high school sports is super cool because you have the passion of these young kids who want to do something big with their lives. A lot of them, you never know, they may want to be professional athletes one day. So I think I'm really honored to be there and to see how this all goes.
So are you you're a Swiftie, but does that mean you're a softie? So like when these guys are going up for these dunks, are you going to give them all tens if they make it, or are you going to be critical? I mean, you are known as a tough journalist with some of the stories that you've been able to cover. Obviously, we're grateful here in East Palestine that you've been able to cover this so well over the last year. Are you going to be a softie when it comes to scoring, or is it something that you're going to really be looking in the intricacies of what these young men are doing?
I might be holding these kids accountable. I think I'm gonna be watching closely. Maybe now that you said that, I'm like, no, I'm gonna be tough. I think, yeah, I think, and I remember being in high school, and during gym and stuff, you would play basketball,
Oh, yeah.
like do those like knockout different games like that. Um, I remember I used to really enjoy it, actually, like enjoy playing and shooting the basketball, and just like it's just fun. So I think I'm gonna be paying close attention and see how they shoot that ball. And well, they're gonna be dunking.
Right.
And no, I'm not gonna be too soft. I'm sure they're gonna be really good. I'm probably gonna be like, wow, like the first one, I'm probably like, that was awesome, and then we'll see. But yeah, I'm excited to see how these kids do.
You graduated from Kent State, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you come here 2020, if my memory serves
Yep.
ish. Um,
2020, right during when the pandemic was just taking off. So yeah, graduated from Kent State in 2020 and moved here right after I graduated.
I was just going to ask you. So your whole life and being a journalist, it's all about news and updates. And during that pandemic, I mean, it was constant updates. I mean, the social media was the place to be for you. Being a new journalist, and you already had several internships and cut your teeth very early on. You get this opportunity to come to the Mahoning Valley, and all of a sudden, you are boom right in front of it. You're the person delivering this news. What was that like? That had to be a whirlwind to start your career with the pandemic and things that were happening in 2020.
Yeah, that is such a good question, DJ. It was crazy because that's what I knew, like that's how I started my professional career in a sense. And yeah, I did stuff through college. I did internships. I worked for a station in Cleveland and did the assignment desk, more behind the scenes stuff. But and we did TV too in college and everything, which was our student led television station. But just coming here and just pandemic, it was all COVID stories. I will say almost every story I was doing had a COVID angle. There was constant updates. We were going cutting in live into the air. Lots of new developments every day, it felt like. Remember, it was like 2 o'clock wine with DeWine, they called it, when you would have a meeting, yeah, every single day at one point at 2 o'clock. So I just remember, and it's crazy to think that was already, what was it, 5 years ago now. Well, 4 years since 2020, but 5 years since, they declared it a pandemic. But or since the virus began. But it was just like, it was wild. I mean, it was definitely a lot. But I think, and even, I mean, I would say up until sort of recently, up until the past year, it was still a big news story. COVID has affected businesses across the valley, has affected different areas in so many ways. And just thinking about East Palestine and what they have dealt with since COVID, you know what I mean? Those businesses there, like, I can't even imagine. But yeah, I don't know. It is interesting because people always ask, like, you started right during the pandemic. And yeah, it was just, that was the story. And that was and it was like when I graduated, it was just like, it just like, it's almost like my end of college life just bleeded right into the start of my career. And we didn't even have our commencement, and we just kind of started and we hit the ground running.
It really has been incredible to watch, and the way that you go from the pandemic, like you said, into the derailment here locally. You've done an incredible job with that. But one thing people don't realize about anchors and journalists and reporters is that you live for literally telling people almost bad news on the regular. Do you ever become callous to that? I mean, is it something that your emotions you kind of have to keep in check? Because I mean, all that bad news that you're delivering constantly can probably put you into a little bit of a mental fog as well.
Yeah, it is hard, especially with the tragic stories and when you hear about things that happen with children and families or deaths. I mean, yeah, it's very sad to be that up close to it. You know what I mean? Because it's different, you're watching the news story and when you're in it and you're, meeting with these people, it's tough. But you just have to remember that it's my job. That's what I tell myself, it's my job. And especially when you're dealing with a tragic situation, sometimes I think of it as for the people who do want to talk about it, it's an outlet for them. And it's like, yeah, it's sad, but I mean, imagine what they're dealing with. That's real life, and all of us, and in at one point in our life, will deal with a tragedy. Within, we'll deal with something. So we're just there, kind of hearing from people who are, it's that time in life when they're dealing with something awful. We hope nothing like that would ever happen to us, but we all, go through things. So I think, yeah, it is hard, but then I just remember, what they're dealing with. And I'm just someone who's giving them a voice to talk about it. So I guess that is kind of one way to think about it. And, I think in a way it can make you check yourself as well as, to be grateful for, what you have. And if someone's dealing with something, you can kind of look at it as a way of remembering, to be grateful and to learn from their experience and just hear from them and tell their story. But I think the news, though, covering stories and just in general has, I think the biggest thing, just taught me so much. And I think you are more aware of what's going on around you. And I actually think it just helps me in everyday life, understanding different things, you know what I mean? Because we cover just about everything, from like taxes to voting and things, stuff about your car or the roadways. Like there's just so many different, all kinds of situations that we cover. So I think it yeah, there's emotional stories and it can be tough sometimes, but you just have to remember that that's that's just a part of the job. And I guess I just have managed to handle it okay. I mean, I've definitely gotten really emotional about some stories I've done for sure. But you just keep moving forward, and you never know. Like one day you have a tragic story and the next day you're at a county fair. It's just like you never know. So that's just kind of how I think of it.
How do you, from your perspective, how do you kind of blow off steam? How do you enjoy life, relax? Is it food? I saw that you're a foodie. You like seafood,
I
uh,
will.
and stuff like that. What things do you do to kind of enjoy life a little bit and to relate with the normal folks and not just be a celebrity all the time?
It's so funny, like that, yeah, when people say that, but I don't really feel that way. I just kind of, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I love food. I love food. That is so true. I love seafood. I love to go out to eat, hang out with my friends. I think when I'm not at work, just, you know, be 26, live my life, have fun, and I do try to kind of avoid like looking at my, work phone a ton. I try to just like catch up with my family because they live like an hour away. So I just try to enjoy myself. And because during the week, to be honest, just the nature of the job, like during the day, I don't really feel like I have time at all when I'm in the newsroom to catch up on anything that is outside of work because, I'm on deadline and I have to get it done. So I like to value my mornings. And in the evening, I get tired sometimes, but I get home, I try to, get to bed. And I think, make time for myself in the mornings to do stuff like for my wellness, and like I enjoy working out and stuff like that. So I think on the weekends, it's like I need to prioritize having fun and doing all the little self-care or whatever stuff I want to do because I feel like I don't really have time during the week. So it's like the weekends are kind of like, okay, it's the weekend, like, what can I accomplish that I couldn't get done during the week? And I also at the same time want to just chill.
Yeah, you're playing catch up naturally,
Yeah.
always playing catch up on Saturdays and Sundays, which I think we get. One thing that I've learned over the last 7 years of being in the public eye, so to speak, that I still can't get used to. Maybe you can help me out with this. Is when you're out and about and you're just going about your normal day. You're saying, working out and going out to eat and things like that. People approach you, and it's like they and I love this, right? But it still throws me off kilter
Mhm.
when they just start talking to you about something and you have no idea, no clue who they are, but they know you because you're in their living room
Yeah.
every night at 6 o'clock. How do you
Mhm.
handle that side of things? Because I'm having a heck of a time when I'm at a restaurant or I'm somewhere, and it's just like they pick up conversation as if we never stopped.
Yeah. That is, yes, that is true. Usually, yes, that has happened before. And it's interesting because I used to feel like, when you in college or in your early career, and I'm sure you can relate to this, like you would, meet someone and you'd remember them because you can still count the interviews you've done. Over time though, it's like you meet so many people, and I'm so grateful, and I always, take their cell phone number, write their name down, and try to remember them as much as I can. But yeah, you just over time you meet so many different people, so sometimes I know what you mean. They act like, or maybe they have met you, or maybe they're just talking with you and they just see you on TV. But yes, I totally know what you're saying, and I think I just, I'm like, oh, I'll just ask questions and it's nice. But a lot of the times it's usually just people approaching me, and they watch the news and they're just like excited. But it's really nice, it's cool. Like, yeah, it is interesting though, because I mean, obviously I'm still, super green in my career, in a sense, because I've only been doing it for like 3.5 years. But I think I mean, DJ, it's just kind of like, I don't know, like I know people are like, you're a local celebrity, but I guess I know, we're on TV and stuff, and you can totally relate to that. But I just yeah, I don't know. It's like,
It's wild because
it is kind of,
I don't
I don't know, like,
it's one of those things, like, you don't think that you're doing your job and that your job
yeah,
just happens to be in front of a camera, right? And
right.
you like I don't know. We just think that we're out there doing our job in the same way that anybody else would, and not that our job's better or worse than anybody. But it's wild that people recognize us out of nowhere. Like, I don't know that I could ever do that unless it's like you said, Taylor Swift or somebody like that. I'd probably freak out a little bit. But I don't see myself in that aura. I don't like I'm just a dude from East Palestine that's talking about sports, a stooge talking about sports. You're the real journalist. I mean, I could see it happening for you, but when we're at we're taking my family out to eat and stuff like that, and they're like, "Oh, DJ, and this must be Z and B, and this must be C." I'm like, "Wait a minute, time out." So I was
Yeah,
interested to see how you kind of handled that.
yeah, no, it is funny. I think I get excited. I'm like, oh yay, they're watching, and I think, I guess, and I'm sure people recognize you, DJ, because you have such a great personality, and they genuinely enjoy watching you. And I think, we get so used to just like our newsroom and getting the story done, and we're so like sucked into it that, and it's funny because what a lot of people might not realize is when I anchor the news at 6 o'clock, that's like 5% of my day.
Yep.
I get in the morning and I'm working on stories, I'm writing, shooting, editing, and it's not like, you know glamorous, as they say in TV. It's not glamorous. It's not, it's not. But, when I get to anchor at 6, it's an honor. And to report, it's such an honor. And I'm so grateful to do it. But most of my day is really just researching and writing and working on these stories. But I'm so grateful that people watch and that they like us. And it seems like, a lot of people are enjoying the stuff we've been doing, on 21. Obviously, of course, we have you on, DJ, I know, all the time. And so it's just,
Sorry about
I
that.
think no, we love you. And I think it's just, honestly, it's such a compliment when people do that, because I'm like, thank you for tuning in. Thanks for watching our show, because we put a lot of work into it every day.
No, I agree with that wholeheartedly. I always wonder. I'll ask Andrew the same question. Like, it just boggles my mind, especially when I'm sure at the Canfield Fair is like a very big, like, oh my gosh, people actually watch and see what we do and appreciate the work. So,
Yes.
um, I know I've taken way too much of your time, but I do have one more question before I let you go. You've covered so many great things, so many huge stories, and you said the gamut from the tragedies to the triumphs. What has been some of the stories that you are just incredibly proud of? Maybe not like from the story wise, but to be able to be part of it and cover it. for your career, as you said that, you think you're green, but we think that you're the bee's knees, and have been around this valley seemingly forever in the last 3 years, because the world changed seemingly when you got on the scene.
Yeah, no, that's it. And thank you so much. Yeah, that is true. A lot has happened definitely in the Mahoning Valley since I've been here. There are so many stories. Recently, we have launched a new show, sort of recently. It started last year at the end of 2023, but we launched a show called 101 West, and it's more like documentary style reporting. We spend months and months on these stories, maybe even over a year on some of these stories. And we I did a couple on, one of them is on tire to energy plant coming to Youngstown, and the other one we did more recently on East Palestine, actually, and on federal rail safety in general. So I think those are just two, not necessarily, I'm not saying the topic, I was that it's not so much like the story itself, but but being able to answer people's questions about federal rail safety and East Palestine and dig into that. We got to go to DC and interview the head of the agency that looks into federal rail safety, and that's the National Transportation Safety Board. So that was really cool, and just putting together these long pieces and editing them has been really, really fun. But so that's more recently, but I will say, because I did spend a long time on both of those stories, and I'm kind of back to doing day stories right now. But that 101 West has been really super cool. So that happens quarterly. And so our next story should come in May or in the springtime. So I will say before that, I've been like really blessed, I think, to get to just interview interesting figures. I remember what comes to mind actually in East Palestine, Erin Brockovich came, and I've seen her movie, and just being able to talk to her was really interesting. And I mean, and no matter how you feel about people, if it's a political figure, whatever it is, it's still interesting. When you see the Secret Service, for example, come into town. When I interviewed Biden a little bit back, he was on the campaign trail. President Biden, this was in September, so shortly before he won the election, and just kind of seeing that is really interesting. And talking with him on one-on-one, and we held him accountable on some important issues here in the Valley with the Delphi salaried retirees and some other local issues that I'm sure you've heard about, and not to bore about, with news stories, but that's cool. And then recently we saw Air Force One land in Pittsburgh, and they sent us out there to see, the president come off the plane. And it's just cool. When do you get to really see that? So I think seeing that was really, really cool. And gosh, those are the top ones I can think of off the top of my head. There's
Pretty
so
good.
many. There's so many.
That's pretty good. We are so incredibly thankful for you. You've been just someone who supports the partnership with YSN Channel 21 WFMJ. Every time I see you, unfortunately, you have to see me in your building. You're so incredibly nice, and everybody is there. We're so looking forward to bringing you onto our team, welcoming you with open arms on Sunday, March 24th, as a guest judge. And hopefully this is the beginning of a lot of conversations right here, and we could talk about sports and kind of let your hair down a little bit. Madison Tromler of 21 WFMJ, thank you so much. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much, DJ. I'm so excited. Thank you.
We believe expectations are made to be exceeded. At the new Toyota of Warren, it's about more than just getting a great deal. It's about service you can count on and a friendship you can trust. Year after year, we've done what we do best. We've gone the extra mile so you could too. Because we know it's just not about buying a new car. It's the start of a new adventure. Toyota of Warren, driven by you.
It means the world to me to know that what we're doing is impacting people. And whether it's simply, I got to watch my son or daughter when I was out of town, or we just love watching YSN. We love what you do for our son or daughter. So whenever someone says thank you, or someone is appreciative of what we're doing, it tells me everyone at YSN is doing what we initially set out to do, which is shine a light on these athletes and help them kind of promote themselves. My name's Anthony Hartwig, and my sports network is your sports network.
There we go. There we go. Mike's back on. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Ysn Power Hour. If you are, if you're just joining us, first off, thanks, Madison Tromler, for taking some time out. Congratulations on being put into the guest judge, the second of our guest judges here for our slam dunk contest on March 24th. All the details will be kind of flushed out throughout the entire next week as we get to the main event Sunday. You can also go back and watch the interview with Madison Tromler, main event Madison, right on our website, ysnlive.com. For those of you who have been living under a rock or have been watching this show for the last 20 minutes or so and have not heard the news, I wanted to make sure I dug into the old jersey closet, wanted to make sure I could wear this at least once. Literally, the tag's still on it. So I haven't been able to wear. I got this jersey before last season started, and there was no hope for Kenny. So I just kind of kept it tucked away. Obviously, I'm going to have to go ahead and either return this to China or figure that whole deal out. I don't know if we're allowed to return anything. But Kenny Pickett is no longer a Steeler. So quickly, we want to have a moment of silence for Kenny Pickett. That's enough. Thank you, Kenny, for your service to the Pittsburgh Steelers. We'll always be grateful. I'm sure there's going to be a montage that lasts slightly longer than Aaron Rodgers' season did here in 2023. So thank you so much for everything that you gave to the Pittsburgh Steelers. We'll never be able to return that favor. We'll never be able to tell you how much you've meant to the last 2 years of being a Pittsburgh Steeler. And thank you so much again for your service. We appreciate you more than you'll ever know. That third round pick is probably going to do mountains more than you ever did here in Pittsburgh, but you gave it your all, my friend, with your tiny hands. You gave it your all. And now in Philadelphia, you'll be in great tiny hands with that team out there being the inevitable backup to Jalen Hurts, I'm sure. As the Steelers, Josh Upshire is basically, I'm finding out, as you might know him, the head coach of the basketball Badger basketball team. There we go. He's like the Adam Schefter of everything. Like, he's keeping me up to date, just blowing up my phone, letting me know what's going on, spoon feeding me information, making sure that I know what's going on. So a big shout out to Josh Upshire out there for allowing me to do this. It's funny you say that, Sam, because look who's chiming in from the grave. Big Mike is chiming in, and he loves the move. So you know that is going to be absolutely terrifying for the Pittsburgh Steelers, because if Big Mike loves the move, that means that Kenny Pickett's going to go on to be some like Hall of Famer at some point. But Sam says, "In the eyes of an angel," which is a little bit of an inside joke here. But there is some good news. Good news for Browns fans today, in case you did not hear it. And I'm kind of jealous. I'm not going to lie to you. Incredibly jealous on many fronts, as Mike Vrabel has signed on to be in the Cleveland Browns organization in some capacity. I guess he's in charge of personnel or something. I was reading about it. That's big. That's big. That's a culture shock. But it makes me wonder. It makes me think, what is it going to be like with Stefanski and Vrabel in the same building, and Jim Schwartz in the same building? Will they be able to coexist? Will there be a little bit of turbulence, or will it be smooth sailing for the Browns? It's going to get interesting. But it goes back to the conversation that Scotty and I had. I look like an idiot in this thing with this tag hanging off, but I'm not going to pluck it. I don't know how I'm getting this jersey back to China, but I will find a way. I'm interested to see the Browns are making football moves instead of just guessing and trying to put butts in seats. Gonna be an interesting year in the AFC North. We are a long way away from football, but I will tell you this, being that we're still in basketball season, it's going to be fun all off season moving into it. It's going to make this year go even faster than it already is. We are going to, and I can tell you this, as we release the information, I want to make sure that there's been a lot of people asking about the YSN game on Sunday, March 24th. It will be at Boardman High School. Okay. Players, coaches, check in. It all begins. The gates open at 3:30. Doesn't mean if you're a fan, you need to be there at 3:30. I've already heard that there will be tailgating. I heard that people will be in that lot ready to go and getting excited for this game. It is Palm Sunday, right? So 3:30, the players will be able to check in. Coaches will be able to check in. You'll be able to stretch, shoot around, whatever you need to do. There will be music. DJ Moscola will be bringing in the tunes. And if you've ever been to a Boardman game, it's going to be entertaining the entire time. There will be music throughout the entire, and I mean the entire game. Like, we're just letting the tunes fly because this is a party. This is a celebration. This is not these obviously with 120 student athletes, we're not going to be able to get everybody valuable minutes, right? This isn't a showcase. This is for fun. There's going to be kids that are shooting from 3/4 court. There's going to be, hopefully there's going to be more dunks than just in the dunk contest. This is going to be a celebration. This is an absolute party. This is a party that Boardman High School is allowing us to throw in their house. We're going to be respectful, obviously, but we are going to have a great time because we're going to celebrate the game of basketball. We're going to celebrate these coaches. We're going to celebrate these kids most of all, and that's what's important. 5 o'clock, the girls' game will begin. So we will have all the coaches ready to go, tip off, and we're underway. 6:30 is going to be the girls' 3-point contest. 6:50 is going to be the boys' 3-point contest. 7:10 will be the girls' 3-2-1 contest. And there's been a lot of people asking me, what in the world is a 3-2-1 contest? All right, so this is Donnie Riccatelli's baby here, other than the 3 babies that he has. And happy birthday, Mr. Riccatelli. Happy birthday to you, my friend. You are the GOAT, without a shadow of a doubt. The 3-2-1 in Donnie Riccatelli's world is you can shoot any which way, but you have 15 seconds in that first round of 2 rounds. So there is a semifinal and a final round. That's it. We have 6 contestants. You can shoot a 3, a 2, and a 1, a 1, a 2, and a 3, a 2, a 3, and a 1, a 2, a 1, and a 3. Whichever way you want to go, right? You just have to make those 3 shots. You have to make those 3 shots. And they don't have to be in succession. You just have to make those 3 shots in 15 seconds, right? We'll have ball shaggers to toss you the ball. So you get that. You have to make those 3 shots. Again, in any order, they just have to go in. They have to drop. So it's going to be fast and furious for 15 seconds. Bang, 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 done. The best times will go on to the finals. So we'll have it on the clock on the scoreboard. We'll drop it. Ready, set, go. And then it's the clock counts down 15-0. Once you, like, let's say if you nail them in 7 seconds and there's 8 seconds left on the clock, that's your number. Your number is 7 seconds. Okay. We go into the finals. It is done. That's 3-2-1. And then, of course, the slam dunk contest, which is going to be bananas. Some of the names that we've got in this slam dunk contest, if you've been keeping track at home, you know some of the best dunkers in the valley, baby. Some of the best dunkers. That is a terrible impression. But you know who I was talking about. PTP primetime players, baby. We will have all of them dunking on YSN. 2 rounds. 2 rounds, 6 dunkers, semifinals, finals, and then we go. Then we go on to the boys' game, which is scheduled to start at 8 o'clock. It's going to be a late night. I'm going to warn you right now, it's going to be a late night. So if you're coming, it's just plan on it's going to be a late night, 9:30-ish, getting out of there, right? By the time we pass out the trophies, the awards, all that stuff. But it's going to be worth it. It's going to be worth it. We're excited to be able to put the closing and finishing touches on a season and shut the book. And then we officially move in to spring sports. Another question that we've been asked that has nothing to do with the All-Star game, but has everything to do with moving forward into spring sports. Big Dogs of the Valley, brought to you by our friends over at Baird Brothers, as always. What are we going to do with Big Dogs in the spring? Well, let's break some news. For the first time ever, we will have boys and girls track and field Big Dogs of the Valley. You've asked for it kindly, which I appreciate. We are going to give it to you. Big Dogs of the Valley. You'll be able to vote every single week for the best, the brightest, the most incredible stories, leadership, what they're doing on the track, what they're doing in the field, what they're doing in baseball, what they're doing in softball, all on YSN. And then, of course, we'll roll through the season, and we will have our Big Dogs of the Year as well, where you'll be able to vote on that as well. Typically, we try to get 6 to 8. I'm thinking we'll probably end up with 6 again, just because you never know the way that spring sports and the weather is going to hold up. So we're going to shoot for 6, and then we will have the semifinals and the finals. So keep that in mind. We're going to need nominations. We're going to need you to keep an eye on the Big Dogs of the Valley, the big names, the big performances, so that way we can recognize them in the only way that we know how. And here's the other thing with Big Dogs that I want people to better understand. Big Dogs of the Valley doesn't necessarily always showcase the best. It's not always a player of the week thing, right? And it's not always about winning. And I know this is crazy because I'm not a participation trophy guy, but the reason we have Big Dogs of the Valley and not players of the week and things of that nature, because we can highlight more kids' names. And why it's important, because in today's digital world, and you might not know SEO, search engine optimization, you might not know some of the things that we do and why it's a big deal to be a big dog, even nominated in those 6 weeks, is because when your name gets out, when we run these graphics and when we run these every time that someone comes to our site and clicks on it, and whether they vote for you or not, they see your name. And in the words of Roman Reigns, they acknowledge you. That's a big deal. So whether you win or not, whether you're the one that ends up with thousands of votes that particular week, in Big Dogs, you're seeing some of the best names, biggest names in track and field, the biggest names in basketball, the biggest names football, volleyball. Wrestling will come back. Okay? Wrestling's coming back. We wanted to make sure that we put all our eggs in the wrestling basket in the coverage side this year. Next year, Big Dogs of the Valley Wrestling is coming back, boys and girls. Relax, folks. But to me, the Big Dogs of the Valley is one of the coolest things that we do because of the way we do it. Great. When you win championships, when you're able to win votes, it's very humbling, right? Thousands of people putting their confidence in you. Very cool. Very, 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 and especially lately, our numbers have been off the charts. Off the charts. Naturally, I knew Gary Altizer was out there listening. Big Dogs Wrestling. Yes. Kudos, Gary, by the way. Tip of the cap, a salute, whatever you want, my friend. You, Anthony, Colucci, knocked it out of the park this year. Best wrestling coverage this Valley has had ever. And you know how we do things at YSN. That means next year it's going to be doubly as good. And there's higher expectations, which I'm guaranteeing that Gary Altizer, Chris Colucci, Anthony Hartwig will add to that team. And we'll go even further. I'm excited for it. I'm excited for it. Congratulations on all your success, man. Well deserved. And we're grateful for you. As far as the big dogs go, track and field, you're in. Baseball, softball, all this spring. It's time to get excited. It's time to get motivated. And it's time to nominate some of the best this country has to offer. And they all live right here in this region, this valley of Northeast Ohio, Western Pennsylvania. We're excited for that. I think that's it. Again, unbelievable interview with Madison Tromler. Thank you for everything. Thank you for coming by. Thank you for volunteering your time on next Sunday to be a guest judge. We will unveil. Kind of had a mix of two words. We will unveil the other three guest judges next week, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Here on YSN, we're excited. Maybe Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. I don't know. We'll figure it out because Scotty usually comes on Wednesday. We'll figure it out. But yeah, big weekend ahead. St. Patty's Day, and that's Patty with D, not T. That's how you pronounce it. I learned that today. So wear your green. Everybody's Irish on the 17th, which is Sunday. But I'm sure a lot of people celebrating tomorrow. Be safe. Be responsible. And naturally, don't pinch people who don't wear green. That's just not, it's not kind. It's not nice. And it's kind of annoying at that point. Just leave them alone. Maybe green's not their color. Maybe they don't like that color, But I can tell you one thing is that a team that's wearing green is going on to play a team that's wearing red. We're pretty freaking proud about it around here. Ursuline and Canfield going toe to toe. One of these teams is going to state. Who's it going to be? Ursuline and Canfield. And then tonight, ladies and gentlemen, Tom O'Brien, the voice of the Warren John F. Kennedy Eagles, will be in the building, broadcasting live. Warren JFK. We will have the live audio, and we will have the delayed video broadcast right after it. So if you are looking for some hoops tonight, we got you covered. And you know what? We're picking up the tab. We're picking up the tab because it's not fair. I don't think it's fair in business to have someone pay for your delayed video. But we learned about this week, and we're pushing the envelope a little bit. So apologies to the teams that we weren't able to do this for in the first round of the regionals. We're looking to do this possibly the rest of the way. Possibly. So good luck to the Eagles tonight. Good luck to the Cardinals. Good luck to the Irish. I think that's everybody that's left, right? Is that it? Somebody check my balances here. Make sure that I'm not missing somebody completely. If JFK wins, that's the biggest win in recent history. Talk about David versus Goliath, go Eagles. It's Richmond Heights, correct, Sam? If I'm not off base here. Cardinals times 2, so you're good. All right. I don't know what that means, Ant. I don't know what that means. Okay. Yeah. So Richmond Heights tonight against Warren JFK. The Kennedy Eagles is, I mean, they've got a million names, but hopefully we're calling them regional champs. That's what we want to be calling them. And we want to be calling them state champs, which I don't think would surprise anybody either. With all the success that school has continued to have, even when there's doubters everywhere. Everywhere there's doubters. So I think everybody at YSN tonight in this region, in this area, screaming, go Eagles. Fly, Eagles, fly. Excited. Oh, my apologies. Yeah, the Mooney Cardinals, excuse me, playing tomorrow at 2. We got that covered or we're working on getting that covered as well. Thank you, Anthony. I appreciate it. I couldn't understand the Cardinals ×2 thing. I did know that. I didn't forget. My gosh. There's a lot going on, people. There's a lot going on. I've got a Kenny Pickett jersey. I've got to somehow get to China, maybe hand deliver it. We got Madison Tromler. Got Scotty Mincher. We've got an all-star game coming up. Take it easy. Mooney, you know I love you. I never forget about you. Relax. We're all going to be all right because we're going to have unbelievable. We've already had unbelievable seasons of basketball, and we're not a basketball town, or so they say, right? It's time to prove the world wrong. Time to shock the world. Oh, by the way, this is what happens when you don't have a show that's scripted, right? You're just a stooge that's sitting here talking about sports and just rambling for an hour. The Youngstown State University Penguins getting a huge win over Pitt, their first win of the season, which leads me right into our sponsored content here from Joe Dickey Electric. It's time for What's Your Spark? All right, so what's your spark? My spark is this. I got to make sure that I stay PG on this. I got to make sure I stay PG on this. If you happen to represent a company, a school, a university, whatever it may be, and that company happens to hire you or pay a wage to you for a job or a service or whatever, I don't necessarily think it's a great idea that you badmouth any satellite portion of that university, of that job, that company, whatever it may be. Not a great look. Not a great look. And especially when you literally toss grenades onto bridges that have been built and you nuke them, and you've done it so much that they're not there anymore. And the one bridge that you have left in an industry that I'll admit you're really good or very proficient at on one side of that particular industry, you nuke that one too. What we do here at YSN is we make sure that if in the world of a crazy media scene, right, where anybody and everybody who can grab a microphone and has a camera can put themselves out there. And usually it's not for the good stuff. Usually it's to obviously have their opinion or their voices heard, which is fine. I think everybody's okay with that. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of responsibility that comes with a podcast or a broadcast or a show or building a network or building a media company or building whatever it may be, right? A brand. I'm not just going to sit idle from my situation. And especially if it's someone, a client of ours, and you're just going to poo-poo them and call them embarrassing or, put them into a corner when they've got local people. Let's put it that way. I'm trying to dance around the fire, folks. You're going to have to deal with it and bear with me. You've got to be able to understand that I won't, with the voice that has put me where I am, I'm not going to sit idle and let you crap all over a brand or a university or a high school or a college kid or college kids or college team or a company or a service. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to sit idle when there is 800 things minimum that they can do that you cannot. If you're not a coach, and you're entitled to your opinion, don't get me wrong, and that's not where this is. But remember that others are entitled to theirs as well, and they're going to feed it back to you. And I understand that social media has given everybody a platform and everybody a stage and everybody an opportunity to have their voice heard, but some people just need to shut the hell up. That's just how it is. That's just how it is. And especially if they're very critical of people or efforts or calling anybody embarrassing when that particular team or no, you're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. You're not going to tell me on Sunday about your Catholicism and your Christianity and your beliefs and how deep you are in prayer, and then on Monday you crap on somebody. Not a good look. Not a good look. And I am not in the world of crapping on student athletes for their efforts and calling them embarrassing. Until you walk a mile in their shoes, you don't get to sit there and call them embarrassing. Even when you do, most people won't, because they understand the sacrifices that those individuals, that service, that brand makes. But I do understand, and some of the conversations that I've had this week, people like that are usually the first to reach back out and say, hey, this is what I need. Hey, this is what I want. Hey, how can you help me? That's how it goes. I know for a fact those people are not going to be reaching out anytime soon with a helping hand. That's going to be a tough look. That's going to be a tough look. And you know what's frustrating about this is some of these individuals that are doing this are the ones that are having their hand out constantly, asking for opportunities. And when opportunities are denied because certain individuals can't keep their yappers shut, they never look in the mirror. Yet they always point the finger. To me, that's the embarrassment. That's going to do it for our show. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Again, stay safe. Stay healthy. Stay out of trouble, please. Stay out of trouble. Wear your green proudly. Do what you got to do. But please don't hurt anybody out there. Love each other. And like my good buddy Pat McAfee always says, be a friend. Tell a friend something nice. It could change their life. We will see you on Monday. Peace. Happy St. Patty's Day. Ysn thanks you for watching this